of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management, Charles Nyame. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on Eyewitness News.
Good evening, and thank you for having me on the Eyewitness News.
Grateful. Now, the finance minister says government has released some 700 million Ghana cedis to customers whose funds have been locked up in the various fund management companies. Will this be enough to address your issue? Because earlier on, you had called on the government to act swiftly upon the recommendations of the ad hoc committee set up by Parliament.
Thank you very much. Greetings to all your listeners and viewers. The 1.5 billion Ghana cedis, even if all is released today to be disbursed to the Gold Coast Fund Management customers, it is still not enough to pay even half of the outstanding balances that the government needs to release for Gold Coast Fund Management customers. We are talking of investment balances of almost 5 billion Ghana cedis for only Gold Coast Fund Management customers. And the Finance Ministry and the government have just made an allocation of 1.5 billion. The least we expected from the Finance Ministry and the government is to release these booking in bulk or in whole. The 1.5 billion should have been released in whole to be disbursed. One from these pieces, but in all, we say it's a step in a good direction, because for the past 6 years, after the 2020 election, where the government saw the need to bring out the partial bailout, the government has not made any efforts to pay us until this election time again. And we are pleading with the government, if they are going to release this 1.5 billion in 3 tranches, and they have instructed the Controller and Accountancy Department to release 700 million to the Ministry of Finance as of yesterday, to the Securities and Exchange Commission as of yesterday, we are asking that when are the other 2 tranches, the second and the third tranches, are going to be released? Because as we are talking now, we are moving into an election. We are in an election season, and we don't know where the outcome of the election will go. We know we are in this country when a government takes over. It is difficult for the government to continue whatever the previous government is doing. So we are pleading with the Finance Ministry, at least for this 1.5 billion that has been announced and allocated to reduce the stress and the sufferings of the customers, should be released as soon as possible before we get to 7 December. It is very, very important.
Right. You have issued ultimatum after ultimatum. It has even gone to Parliament. An ad hoc committee was set up to investigate the matter, or to look into the matter. Recommendations have been made, and now government says it is going to release this 1.5 billion allocation in 3 tranches. Today, it has announced the release of 700 million cedis. Does this not water down the tempers that had arisen amongst your members?
Not at all. Not at all. You see, we are talking of investment portfolio of over 5 billion, which has been in outstanding without accruing any interest for the past 6 years. Consider time value for money. Consider the inflation. Consider the exchange rate. Most of our members who have their funds locked up were in the diaspora, and they came down to exchange hard currency into cedis to make this investment. Should that person consider the amount of foreign currency, the amount of dollars, the amount of pound sterling, the amount of euros that they exchanged into cedis to make that investment as far back in 2016, 2017. And they look at the value of their investment that has been truncated for the past 6 years. And the least the government could do is already depreciated investment value. So what from the pieces? So 700 million, though it is going to serve as a relief for some people who need immediate medical care, attention, money to take off their medical care and whatever, but it doesn't solve the problem. Because if someone has an investment portfolio for about 1 million Ghana cedis, 2 million Ghana cedis, how much would this amount of 700 million pay to that person, that single person? So we are pleading with the government that this 700 million Ghana cedis is good. It's a step in good direction. It's a good gesture as we are going to the elections. But the government could do better. And they should go back to their drawing board and redraw whatever plans that they have for the financial cleanup exercise and come up and clear the mess. Because it is incumbent on Akufo-Addo government. It is incumbent on Akufo-Addo government to make sure that he clears the messes of this financial cleanup exercise. If not that, he will go down as a president who came to power and took the very livelihood of ordinary Ghanaians from them.
This 1.5 billion is not for Gold Coast fund management customers only. It's for all fund management customers of all the fund management companies. And so I'm not sure what your expectations are from this.
You see, the government is not being straightforward. When we appeared before the parliamentary committee set to inquire why Gold Coast fund management customers are not being paid, according to information presented to the panel or to the committee, the Ministry of Finance, together with Security and Exchange Commission, indicated that they have paid all other financial institution companies, with exception of two, which is Gold Coast Fund Management and Crown Capital, where they have not secured their liquidation orders. And I am here to tell you that the Crown Capital, their investment portfolio, wouldn't amount to even 50 million Ghana cedis. So, if we are talking about 700 million being released to fund management customers, we are talking of Gold Coast fund management customers, unless they come out to tell us that the information they presented before the parliamentary committee set to investigate this matter was not the entire truth.
You have about 61,000 customers. Is this true?
Yes, that is true.
And what were right? Carry on. What were the exact recommendations of the committee based on whatever information was gathered during the hearing?
Let me tell you, we have been very skeptical to issue an official response to whatever report and recommendation the committee released, because we were not much impressed with the recommendations of the committee. We were not much impressed with the recommendation of the committee in the sense that we have petitioned the government to look into a matter that is affecting us. And the committee was set to investigate and come out with a recommendation. The main recommendation that, if you look into the report, the main recommendation that the Joe Garten-led committee made was that the government should look forward to protect the taxpayer. Trying to say that taxpayers' monies that are being used to bail out these people should be spent in a very careful way. Who is the taxpayer? Is it not the investor? We, the Gold Coast Fund Management customers? Are they trying to isolate the taxpayer from the investor? We are talking of, we don't want to say much, because if we are to put out with certain revelations and whatever, we are in a kind of package of a bailout has been approved and has been read by the finance minister, led the finance minister Kenoforiata, and expected a report to Parliament House that he has finished cleaning up the financial sector, paid all the entire customers with an amount of 25 billion, which could have paid every victim of the financial cleanup exercise, be it under Bank of Ghana or Securities and Exchange Commission. A full bailout package has been realized. Meanwhile, they haven't paid us up to now. So what are we all discussing about? Can certain people be held responsible? So the point is, it is neither here nor there. The government has no excuse to pay part and leave the rest, because full package has already been realized, and a report was sent to the Parliament House in the year 2022 by the then Finance Minister, Minister Kenoforiata, that they have expended an amount of 25 billion Ghana cedis to clean up the entire financial sector. Recently, the governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Addison, came out with a press release that the 25 billion that was spent under the banking sector cleanup was not only meant for companies that fell under, was not expended for companies that fell under Bank of Ghana, but at the Securities and Exchange Commission as well. So what are we talking about? We are not asking the right questions. We are not probing the right people, because people are making a field day out of the woes of these victims of the financial cleanup exercise, and we have no man, no woman in this country to ask the right questions on our behalf.
At the committee level, it was established that you have 61,000 members. Is that so?
The committee, in their report, said that they couldn't establish that because the finance ministry, the Securities and Exchange Commission was claiming that the number of our customers left were 28,000, and we were insisting that we are 61,000, and the committee couldn't take the responsibility to investigate or establish whether our numbers are 28,000 or the 61,000 that we are claiming. That is what the report says.
Right, and the committee did recommend that your members, notwithstanding of the total number, be paid.
Yes.
So then my question is, what amount did the committee recommend that be paid to you, of course, your members? What figure?
The committee was not clear on that.
So do you get the impression that this 1.5 billion will end it on the part of government after the third tranche is released?
It can't be possible. That cannot happen. We believe that government is progressive. Even though we are going into an election, the outcome can fall at the left or at the right side, but we still believe that whoever or whatever government that comes to power in 2025, since our investment, our locked-up investment is a legitimate money that we made and invested into the financial sector with a legitimate company licensed by the government of Ghana, our balances will be paid.
All right, Charles, thank you so much for your time this evening. We're grateful.
Thank you.
Charles Nyame is convener for the Aggrieved Customers of Gold Coast Fund Management.